So here's a happy guy, and here's the steps on that assignment. So I'm back to the low poly assignment. And I'm saying place your photo, Command Shift P, and then embed it, and that's how you embed it. And I'm saying use a pen tool, half a point white stroke, no fill, to create adjacent geometric shapes. Don't have gaps between the shape. And then, so I'm going to just demo that for a little bit. So I placed myself here, and I'm going to, and I'm looking here at this big shape, and I'm thinking, well, it looks fairly flat, but I just think I'm drawing what I know. I can feel I've got some curvature there, and I'd say I probably need some a little bit more division in that shape. So here's the shape here. See, I've got a line, and then I've got another. Try to click on the line. Then I've got another line that I had locked right there. And you see that shape. And I think that shape's too big. And so what I'm going to do is I'll actually, I'm selecting this shape here, and I'm going to lock it. And I'm going to take that shape and lock it. I just hit Command 2 or Object Lock Selection, Command 2, Control 2 on a PC. And I want to divide this shape into probably at least, I think like an angled shape like that. I think that's going to inform the shape a little bit better. And I'm going to get just the line segment tool. And here's something I haven't shown you, but I think it might help you. And so I'm going to say, well, and that's my brow. First thing, I think I need a little bit more eyebrow. So I'm going to just draw a line right through that shape there. And then I'm going to, with that line, and then this line, both of these lines selected. So I held the Shift key to select them both. And I'm going to change those strokes to black for just a second, just so you can see what I'm doing. So it's, well, I didn't get that one. Oh, I did. It's just covered by another one. So I've got those shapes selected. And then I can divide those shapes. And so I'm going to use the Pathfinder tool for that. And where's the Pathfinder tool? It's in the Properties panel. I'm going to move the Properties panel here so Zoom stuff's not covering it. And right down here at the bottom, it says Pathfinder. And I don't see the one I want because the whole Pathfinder is not there. And so I'm going to click the ellipses. And I want this one right here. It's called Divide. And I'll click that. And what that did is it divided my shape into one shape, two shapes. See that? So I'm going to put those back. And I still need another one. So I'm going to draw a line kind of through it right here. I think that's going to be better. So I'm going to select those shapes again. So I got both those shapes selected again. And I'm going to click on the Pathfinder tool, and I don't see the Pathfinder tool. Well, I've got to scroll down to find it. It's here again. Or I can go to Window Pathfinder. We're going to play with the Pathfinder a lot more on an upcoming assignment, but I can see the whole Pathfinder now. I'll click this bottom one, Divide, and that divides them into sections again. And so those shapes are a little more, a little better for what I'm doing. And I'll tell those shapes to have white strokes because I didn't really want black strokes. I was just trying to make it easier for you to see what I was doing. And I'll tell that to have a white stroke. Okay, and so I'm just going to do a little bit more. You can see I'm just drawing over my photo. You can see my glasses, they're rounded glasses, but I haven't done round strokes. I'm doing straight lines. So I'm going to hit pen tool again, P for pen tool. You see I've started doing my eye here. I think I'll work on my eye a little bit more. And so I've got, here's my iris. And that's something that, where I'm saying draw what you know, not what you see. You may have dark eyes. I've got light eyes. I've got blue eyes, and they look black to me here. And I've gazed lovingly at myself in the mirror. or seen myself in the mirror if I wasn't lovingly gazing. I've seen myself in the mirror enough to know my eyes are blue, they're not black, and that I have a pupil in the middle of my eye, like all people do, that's black. Um, and so even though I see black here, I'm not going to draw it black on my drawing, and I'm not going to make it just one big shape. I'm going to make the pupil, and I had to kind of um, take some creative license for where the pupil, the black part ends, and the iris, the blue part ends, and where the eye is, the white of the eye. And so I drew that. Now, and it's round, but it's kind of like a camera shutter sort of thing almost. Now I'm going to start working on the eye part there. So I'm going to go click, and I want it to be right at the same point as these ones. So I'm clicking, clicking, clicking. I'll come up here, click, 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 click. And that's going to be a dark shape color. Probably I would want it to, I'm going to undo that one. And I'm not going to go quite as far. I'm just going to go. So this is going to be a small shape there, and that's going to be that dark shape. Now I'm going to continue. I've got a little bit of a crease there. I don't want to lose that. So I'm going to hold shift and click here. So I can click on the exact same spot, click, click. I'm going to come up here, click. And so these are small shapes, but I got to get that crease inside. So it's not making, super quick progress. And this shape here. And then I can get that that crease there, but I'm going to come back to this point. It wants to delete it. I hold shift so I don't draw over the shape. Click, 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 click. And then I'll do one more. I'm going to hold shift. I'll start here, click. I'm clicking right on the other anchor points, but I'm drawing this shape here. I'm going to come over here, click, click, click until my shape is done. Okay. And then if you're not sure you've closed a path, you can click on the shape builder pathfinder tool, this unite one as well. Okay, so now I'm ready to get that crease a little bit more. So I'll start right here. I'm going to draw on top of this one. I'll hold shift so it doesn't delete it. I'm drawing right on top of that one. I have this darker crease area here. I'm drawing that shape now. And now I'll come back and then that shape's done. And then I'm going to get the darker crease along the top as well here. So I'll start where this one is, click, click, and I want it to come clear down to here. Click, 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 click. I'm going to do it one more here. I'll hold shift, click, click, click. Okay. And so I'm just, those are really small shapes, much smaller than these, but it's small detail. And then, the bigger pad area here of the eye, that's a bigger shape. I could come in here and say, okay, well, now I can, um, and I've got reflections and stuff, and I have to disregard that stuff. I'm not going to draw that reflection, but I've got some dark area here. That's the orbital socket. And so I would draw those things. I've got a little dark area here at the tip, and I'm going to zoom up so I can see a little bit better so I don't miss. And I'll draw that. So then when we're all done, so I'm not going to draw anymore because you get the idea. We're drawing all of this, and then we're going to come in and we're going to start coloring. And so back to the assignment, then you're going to fill the shape. So to right here, you're getting all of the drawing. Then you fill the shapes in, and I give you the instructions here. But here's how you do it. And so I'm going to get the, make sure, no, I had some shapes locked. I'm gonna make sure they're not locked. I'm gonna get the group selection tool. That's this arrow with a plus on it. And I'll select a shape here. And so you can see the shape I selected right here. It's selected with green. And then I'm gonna eyedrop. And so I'll get the eyedropper letter I, and I can click anywhere in this. And so remember where I was saying get rid of the lines? Well, I'm gonna color based on what I'm seeing here. And now that I'm seeing it, I actually think, well, I've got some highlight here that I don't want to go all the way to the top. So I'm actually gonna um, draw a line through these two shapes before I do this. And then I'm going to select all four of those shapes. I'm going to go to Pathfinder and divide it because I got a highlight here and I got a different color there. Okay, so now I can do that. So I'm going to select this shape here, and then I will hit the eyedropper, letter I, and anywhere I click in here, I'm going to zoom up so you can see there's pixels. And if I click here, it fills with that color. I'm going to undo. If I click here, it's the darkest spot I could find. It's a very much darker color. And that one's, that's like a freckle. That's too dark. So I'll click a color that's kind of a good average color. I'll click that. Now I'm going to come to this next one, and I'm just going to hold the Command key. And now that one's selected. And then when I let go of the Command key, I'm right back in the eyedropper. So this is going to save you a ton of time. I can't save you a lot of time on the drawing. It is like Sherry commented in the discussion group, it's a lot of drawing, but it's a lot of good practice. But this part, I can save you coming over here a lot. If you just hold the Command key to select and then eyedrop, and I look at those two and I go, that's too close in value. And I kind of want to turn a corner here. It's highlight area, light source is coming from that side. Maybe I'll click a little lighter area. There we go. And you can see those are separate shapes. Now I'm going to move over here. I'll hold the eyedropper, click. You can see which one I have selected. And this is kind of highlight area. So I'm going to click that. See, it's a lot lighter than this one. It's a little gray. I'll see if I can find a, yeah, that's a little more pink. And I'm going to click that. And then this one's not quite as bright as that one, or is it brighter? And it's actually a little brighter. So I'll select this one and do that. Now I'm going to come over here. I'm still in the eyedropper. I'll hold Command, click. Then I'm going to say this is just a touch darker than that one, it looks like to me. I click that shape. And then I'll come over here and click. I'm on this one. And this one wants to be, that's a good color. Then I'm going to come over and click on this one. And it's going to be darker than what I saw above it. And there I go. And then I'll click on this one. And sometimes I want to color this one, but you see I've selected this one. If I click over here, oh, wow, that messed it up. And so I could do a couple things. I could say, well, I don't want that one selected. I could try again. Oh, I selected this one. Oh, I could try here. Okay, I finally selected that. Or, so I got this one selected by accident. I could say, I don't want to, I want to select. I want to select right here, but this one's selected. Object, lock, selection, Command 2. Now I can easily select it and click. And I'm going to pick like a mid color right here. Didn't like that one. I'll come and click another spot. And you might take a couple of clicks till you're happy how it compares with the colors around it. And that one was a little too light. And there we go. Happy with that. Then it gets a lot darker here. I'll select this one. I drop. Oh, and I was trying to select this one. I didn't pay attention. I was on the wrong one. Undo that. Well, since I have that shape selected, I'll go ahead and select something. Click. That's good. I'll come back to this one and a different shape, different color. I just hold Command, select, and then eyedrop. And this one's a highlight, so I'm going to pick a light color because I got a little wrinkle on my eye. And then I've got a dark furrowed brow here. I had the wrong one selected. I'll try again. I'll click on this side, click that dark. There's that furrow. Then I've got Command, click, highlight color. Command, click. Wrong one. Undo. This one's selected now. Command, click. There we go. Now I'll move over to this one. Click. If I try to click in the middle, nothing happens. Nothing should happen because I have, you can see right here, I've got my photo locked here. If I don't have the photo locked, then I can move it around. So I want that locked. I only want the polygons here, or actually I've got a layer called color I would work on. Um, I would duplicate my polygons and then color, but I'm not doing that right now. So I'm clicking and then I can say, okay, what's the color? There I say what I want. Click that. I need to lock this one, Command 2. There, now I can select this one. And so I got variance between the colors. Select this one, eye drop. Select this one. Pick a color, select this one, a little darker color. And this part's pretty quick. But for me, it helps a lot if, and so those are too close. I gotta, that's not what I want. I probably want a little lighter color for that one. There we go. And so pay attention to what the one you select looks like in compared to the other ones. And again, Command 2 is going to be really helpful. Too close, I'll pick a darker color there. But within one of these polygon shapes, there's a lot of variance in the color because everybody's skin's not, you have variance in your skin. There's light spots and dark spot. If I click on this polygon and click a dark spot, it's that color. If I come over here and click a light spot, it's a much lighter color. And so I need to decide what colors I need to have. And then when I compare, if colors are too close to each other, then I've got to maybe do a little bit of revision in the color. But that's how you color. It goes, the coloring part goes pretty quick. And
I
then,
have a I have a question.
okay, Ruby.
So for like your eye, since it's in the photo, it appears like darker, like you said you have
Oh, yeah.
blue eyes. So what would you do for something like that?
Okay, great question. So I'm going to say this is my pupil and it's black, so it'll be black. And then that's the white of the eye, and it's probably not white enough. Um, so this part here, I click and it's just black and black. Well, that's not the color of my eye. So what I would do, see it filled with, I'm going to double click. It filled with this really dark color, um, and it's even in the orange realm. It's not even in blue. See that? And well, so why? Well, because I was in shadows, and it wasn't in great lighting. It was just a snapshot. It wasn't a professional photo. Even professional photos can trick you. So I've got that color, and I go, well, I'm gonna, click in the blue realm here. It's still fairly dark, but I'll just color it there. And that's kind of lighter blue color. Then I can say, okay, that's what I want. I'll select this one. I can come over and click the other one, but maybe I'll go a little darker since it's on the underneath side. I'll lock that one. I'm gonna um, probably start where I already am, but I'm gonna get a little variance in them. See that? Eyes get very, kind of they're even your irises, look at your iris, it's not all the same color. So I'm gonna lock that shape, get a darker shape again. And so I would cheat. That's what answer, short answer, I would cheat. I would draw what I know. I know I have blue eyes, and my eyes, like your eyes and everyone's eyes, have a unique pattern to them, just as unique as your fingerprints. But all eyes kind of have these kind of, well, they have veins, but they have these color specks and flecks and stuff. And so I'm just picking, and that's the white of the eye. And so I could say, well, I'll click on the white of the eye over here, and that's probably going to work. And then there, and that's going to be almost black, but it's really the white of my eye still. I'll start here, and it's kind of brown, but I'm just going to say, well, that's too brown. That's the white of my eye, and it is shadow, and it's not going to be totally brown, but I might click up a little bit and say, okay, let me give my white of my eyes some white. this one, it's just a shadow. I'll go ahead and click it because it's a crease, right? And then we've got a shape here. I'm going to lock that shape and I'm going to pick another blue. And since I have another blue already, that color next to it, I'll just use the color picker to pick a different one. Now I'm going to come over here for the white here, and I'm going to pick that same white I had there, but I think I want it a little wider. But don't do this. Don't go, it's the wider the eye, I'm going to draw it white. Nobody's eyes are really that white. So don't do that. But come back and say, well, I'm going to make it lighter or even lighter still. And that's going to be more believable. And then this one, whoops, that's I had the wrong one select. I'm doing this little shape here. I'll start with this one and say, well, where's light source coming from and what's happening with the eye? And I actually, that area should be a little darker there because it's a sphere. And then I've got one more shape here. I'll select that. And this shape, I'm going to tell it to be a little darker. I'm just using the color picker. I double click on that and then I click. Then, for the eyebrow, I can just click the color and it's going to draw. That's a great question. And that one's too much the same color as that one. I'm going to double click here and just click over a little bit darker. It was this color here. Now it's that color there. And then I decide, well, I like that color. I actually want this one to be lighter. I'll click OK. I'll select this one. I'll double click here and say, I just want that a touch lighter so I get separation there. Then I can come back in here, click, 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 but I'm going to tell that one to be a little darker. So I use color picker a lot. So there's that eye drawn, except for I have some colors here. And what these are highlights. And so I'm going to, in this case, just tell it to be white. But I'm going to come over to, actually I already have a opacity lower on it, it looks like. But I'll tell that to be like 50% opacity. That's a soft highlight. I'm going to click this one. I'm just going to tell it to be straight out white. And let me look at, so there I've got eyebrow, start of it. I would draw this bottom part. But now it looks like I have blue eyes that have highlights. And I'm going to go to my drawing here. I'm going to turn off that drawing. And I do see a highlight a little bit in this area. And I do see a little bit of highlight there, but it doesn't look anything like what I drew. And it looks like, I mostly have black eyes, but I drew what I knew. And it's going to look a little more realistic. And then if it's too bright, it won't be. I mean, my eyes are pretty bright blue, but not in that photo. But since I know what they look like, I just drew what I knew. So great question. Did that help? Okay, so
Yeah.
that's all there is to it. The coloring part goes really quick, but just pay attention as you draw shapes. Like I'm looking at these two shapes and they're too similar. And I might say, well, they're similar in value, but different in color. And I may say, well, maybe I want this color to be just a little more orange. And I'm just coming in and tweak a little bit. So just the color picker is the answer. Just come in and do those tweaks. Or if I see an area that's too big, it's easy to say, well, I wish this shape wasn't so big. And I can divide that shape. So I could select now, like this white shape. I had locked it, so I just unlocked it. Unlock is object unlock all right here. So command 2 locked, command option 2 unlocked it. So that's unlocked now. Then I could say, well, I'm going to get that line tool again. And I think I want to, drag a line right through that one. And maybe this next shape too. and I've got a line, and that line actually has no fill and no stroke, and it doesn't matter, but I'll give it a stroke just so you can see it. And I'll select those shapes as well. So I've got all these two shapes and this line drawn. Again, I go to the Pathfinder and I click divide. And now I can say, all right, I'm gonna have highlight there. And then I want this one to be, and maybe at this point, I'll not just work blindly, I'll actually turn off my polygons. Yeah, it's kind of, I've got some brow here. It's getting a little darker there. I think it's brighter up there. So I'll turn it back on and I'll select this one and I'll say, double click. I'm just going to make this one a little darker. And maybe that was too much. And there we go. It's still light, but there's division. This one, I'm going to do the same thing. I select the color. I'm going to double click, make it just a little darker. And I think I went too much on that one. So I will undo that and make it really just a little darker. And so it's still a highlight area, but so that's starting to come together now. And so that the coloring part goes pretty quick. Okay,